Wow, it's Thanksgiving Day of 2022. And wow, I haven't made a video in so long for myself. It's been a while. So much is going on. I was just looking back at what I was doing this day a year ago, and I was transforming in a huge way, seemingly out here in 3D, a huger way. However, this year it's like, holy shit, it's almost as big, or it might be bigger. I don't know. It's just not looking out here in 3D as dramatic to me. But last year, I started my journey about this time. Actually, it's 1 or 2 in the afternoon on Thanksgiving Day, and I was actually finishing up packing my car and everything, which was not what I intended to do. I intended to get up, butt crack early, and it just didn't work out. But I ended up leaving Florida on Thanksgiving Day last year to make my way to Colorado Springs, which was where I was relocating to, right? And I remember, thinking, why am I leaving so late? This is not cool. Oh my God. And it's all good. It's like, just go with it. I had issues with putting the crap on the top of my car and get everything, tied down and blah, blah, blah. And then I got started on the road, and I just remember after I'm reviewing all the Google photos and reminiscing on that and this nostalgia of that, oh wow, that was the beginning of a whole new life, and here I am a whole year later, and it feels like, it was just yesterday, and yet, like 10 million zillion light years since then. Like, what the hell? And that's a weird position to stand in of so much has happened, and I'm nowhere near the same person that I was last year, but I'm the same person. How's that work? There's just so many dichotomies and beautiful alignments all at the same time, and it's super duper weird. But looking at photos of what that trip was and listening to video that I took as I was going, and seeing pictures of my old guy Tai Tai, who's not with me anymore, make me cry a little bit, and remember what it is to have family. That I packed up my old geezer, my 19-year-old guy, and his 2 pals, Evinrude and Lasagna Kitty. I packed the 3 of them up with me, and we got started on the road. Like, we're moving to Colorado Springs. It doesn't matter how old and decrepit and you are. We're moving. We're not doing this anymore. We got to move it on now. And they were so kind. They were so gentle, and they rode with me. And I just looked at those pictures and thought, oh goodness, how could I ever stand up any one day and think that, I don't have family, I don't have my tribe. I do. Old guy Tai Tai isn't in his body anymore, but look what he helped you get through. Like, how could you deny that energy isn't still riding with you? And I miss him horribly. I want to touch him and hug him and just snug him up and stuff. However, that warm feeling of nostalgia that tends to come on these major holidays and things, family gatherings, I'm technically alone today, and I'm happier than I ever have been in my life. Like, wow, that's quite the strange juxtaposition to be in, that I actually feel happier than I ever have in many ways. I miss some things about my former life, but mostly, I'm very happy with where I am, and I can look at the nostalgia without that just crushing me into the ground. A few days ago, I couldn't say that. I was having some feelings of real intense, because the Scorpio season was all about death, and I didn't realize it until I woke up today and went, oh yeah, we had the new moon in Sagittarius. We're in a new phase now, Kate, and it just so happens, cosmically, to align with our Thanksgiving holiday, that we're into a whole new way. And so even though things are not the same, they never will be again, and they can't be. There's no way that things will ever be the same. It's a matter that from progression to progression, if we don't see the evolution, or we don't take a bite of it and really get engaged in it, we might not evolve to the highest level that we can get to in the next point that we could get to. And so it may seem the same. However, I work really hard. My kitties and me, we figured it out. Or my kitties and I, which one's the grammatically correct? I'm not sure. My kitties kitties and I, we figured out how we're going to progress and evolve through this episode of We're Moving. We've got 2,000 miles to go. It doesn't matter how old you are or how tired I am or blah, doesn't matter. We got to go. We got somewhere to be. We don't have a home here anymore. We got one there, and we can't stop on the road somewhere and park, So figuring that out and dealing with all the emotions of releasing and letting go of my old life. I'm moving into a new life, and releasing and letting go of a whole lot in that whole year that's happened since this time last year. I'm settled into my apartment. It's a whole new way of life. It's nothing like I was doing for my whole adult life up until now, but things change. And when I go with that flow, oh God, no. When I go with that flow and just say, all right, I release and let go, there's nothing else that I really can't do that I want to do, because fighting what's the tide, that to me brings the most pain and misery that I can possibly handle, and I don't want to fight it anymore. And so a few days ago, when I was wallowing around in some intense physical pain and emotional pain of having to say Scorpio goodbye, I left a year ago. Do I really want to come back to that nostalgic moment for healing and not opportunistically look at that and say the energy's here cosmically to help you say goodbye some more, to really heal that and let it go and realize that everything is in God's time, divine time? Well, of course it is. Everything is in divine timing. If it's here on earth and it's happening, it's divine. It's that how divine do I want to get into? I want to be in the most divine experience of that timing that I can be. And if the vibration, the lowest point is down here, it's divine timing, but it's the lowest vibrational point that it could be. I want to be up here somewhere with that, rather than just taking whatever it is and going and fighting it. And the easiest way that I can help my vibration to rise and really get to that point of receiving all the goodness that can come even through the pain is to say, okay, I'm going to go with this and not fight about what time I'm leaving Florida, or ultimately, like I was listening to a video about I'm not leaving. I was supposed to leave. And this year I'm thinking to myself, why was I worried about that? What difference did it make? Because even though I had reservations at a hotel at a certain time or whatever, I still made it there. I still did, because I had already been told ahead of time in that divine timing of this is where you're stopping. And even if I hadn't made it to that point, the worst thing that was going to happen is I might have lost a little money in having to change my reservation or change the time that I arrived. And I think that's all that it was I just had to change the time that I arrived. However, I planned to arrive at some point on that day, and I did, even though there was 7 or 8 hours in between the time that I thought I would arrive and not. So things do work out in divine time. They don't work in divine time, though, I haven't found, for me anyway, that when I'm down at the bottom of that frequency dealing with what seems like chaos, it's all divine timing. It's just that it's going to feel more chaotic and not very well timed when I'm not in that more synchronistic flow that is like a pyramid. I want to be much more at the apex of that, so that I'm feeling and experiencing and seeing in my 3D real D reality more of that's closer to the 5D understanding of that. And so, wow, it's just been a great day of really, macking down hard on some food that I really like, which I don't really do too much because it just doesn't do my body very well to, eat a lot of the things that are good to eat on Thanksgiving. I don't do that every day, but I do allow myself to be all kinds of human. My avatar wants to have some ham, I'm going to have some ham today, and a little bit of other yummy stuff that really helps me to feel nurtured as a human being and helps me deal with some of those transitions that some of those things, the Scorpio experiences have been, very hard and painful, and yet giving myself the chance to say, what do you have in this? And I have this, and not spend too much time, acknowledge what I don't have, honor that, and say, okay, I release and let go, Spirit. How can I get more into that apex and not get stuck down here in the denser energy that leaves me feeling the fear, the anger, the pain, the anguish, all that other stuff that just, it hurts so much, And so when I need to cry, I cry and say, goodbye, and how can I get myself up to the apex of that triangle or the apex of the pyramid to understand that yes, we have to say goodbye. It's the season of change that we live in. Mother Earth dictates how we can help ourselves evolve and get past those painful points. It's just that we have to submit to them, and damn, that's a minute sometimes, like no, I don't want to do that, it hurts so much. And yet there's such joy and reprieve when we can finally make it out of those dark nights of the soul and say, oh, I made it through that. I cried, I grieved, and not bank on the fact that, well, that'll never happen again. And I'm likely to cry again. I'm likely to miss, people and things and places in my life again. It's a matter of jump right in there, get in there, feel that for realsy, Kate. Don't push that off in some, bullshit place. Don't wait. Go ahead and get there and miss the people, things, and places that you used to be, and know that cosmically we're in alignment with getting to the apex of the triangle. The pyramid means you have to release and let go and go with the flow. And that's scary as you know what sometimes. However, every single time I come to the other side of it, I'm reminded by spirit that you feel better today, don't you? And I really do. And it doesn't guarantee me that I won't have any more painful experiences. If I got that guarantee, I'd be scared, quite frankly, because I don't want to be guaranteed that I'm never going to experience pain anymore, because it means I never loved or took a chance on putting myself out there anymore. And that's some bullshit no, that's the fear you used to live in, and we don't do that anymore. So the price, 1111, thank you, is that Spirit is carrying me no matter what I'm experiencing. It's just so much easier to deal with the heart hurt and all of that, and the tragedy and the pain, the intense, it's met on the other side of that with the equal balance of you're that joyous on the other side of it, rather than just that somewhere in between of not really joyous and not really totally miserable, but leaning more in the totally miserable department. So even though I'm grieving loss of things, I'm feeling the joy and independence of a year ago, man. I was off on my way with my 3 kitties, and there we were, and just pictures of what it was like to be in those hotels, carting my cats in and out, some very strange places and some really cool places too that I'd never seen, So anyhow, I'm enjoying myself today. I hope that other people across the planet, whether they celebrate, Thanksgiving or not, as the day it is for Americans across the planet, is irrelevant. It's that I hope there's a joyous mood on everyone's mind every day, especially as we move into the season that we're in, which we're moving into winter. We got to finish out fall, and we're into new moon in Sagittarius, or excuse me, in new moon in Sagittarius. Yeah, sorry. We finished Scorpio, and we're into that new fire sign. So with the fire and the passion of new life, and kind of Phoenix rising out of that garbage other stuff, we don't need to wait until Easter to arise again. We can get through those evolutions of, death and rebirth much faster, but we have to put our mind right on it and believe that it's possible. So looking back retrospectively can help without getting stuck in the heart hurt of, what that all was. So yeah, that's just to take a peek at that. That's just to look at that. Don't get stuck in it. And that's a skill. So no matter what anybody else is doing on this planet today, I'm wishing and praying and hoping that every single person is blessed by whatever they have faith in that's truly good, and helping them to reach that place of having faith in themselves, that they can get themselves through their own crises, emotional or otherwise, that you can do this. You have the ability. We all have that ability. We all have that nugget within us of God's seed or divine frequency or whatever that makes us capable of knowing, yeah, I can do this. So I hope that every single human being, everybody that's running their avatar, please get in touch with that and have that kind of beautiful experience, because you so deserve it. There's been enough suffering and all that other bullshit that it's done, enough. I've had enough of that, thanks, and I can't guarantee I'll never suffer again. That means I want to put myself out there. However, I don't have to unnecessarily suffer. So thank you so much to Divinity and for the teams that help support me and keep me from completely losing my mind, and to the animal friends that I have, and to the human friends that I have, and to the family that rides with me, whether they wear skin or not. So thank you, Divinity, and thank you to the 88 frequency that's keeping me really solid, safe, and feeling good about what I'm doing. May the new year ring itself in a few weeks with all the beauty and glory that it deserves. So thank you very much. Be well and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye, friends.